You?
You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ RIesinger. Here's what's happening. Tonight, Billings police are investigating a shooting, the second in the city, in less than 24 hours. It happened earlier this evening on Florine Lane, that is near Central Park. All of that street was blocked off. Police sent out a tweet saying one person had been taken to the hospital. We don't know any further details right now about the victim's condition or what might have led to that violence. Police do say there is no threat to the public. Well, a late night Billings shooting that happened Sunday is now a homicide investigation. Police Lieutenant Dave Cardillo says the 50-year-old Billings man died shortly after he was shot last night. Happened just before 10 in the front yard of a home in the 100 block of South 31st Street. The man was taken to the hospital and died. Cardillo says no suspects are in custody. He says investigators are talking with witnesses and reviewing surveillance video. The victim's name has not yet been released. Well, students in the Billings Public Schools will continue online learning for the remainder of the school year, and preliminary plans are in place for an in-person but socially distanced high school graduation. At a school board meeting tonight, trustees voted unanimously to end classroom teaching for this year. Preliminary plans for a graduation call for only 10 graduates at a time to be walked across the individual high school auditorium stages. The process will likely take days and is scheduled to start in early to mid-May. No family members would be allowed to attend under the current plan. Billings School Superintendent Greg Upham said the ceremony plan could be changed if Governor Bullock loosens state restrictions. Other schools across the area have also made the decision to close. Billings Catholic Schools announced its decision to remain online today. They now join the schools in Lockwood, Shepherd, Red Lodge, and Joliet in the decision to keep students learning in a virtual setting. Another Montana man has died from complications due to COVID-19. This marks the first COVID-19 death in Gallatin County and the 15th now across Montana. The state also reports one more confirmed positive case of coronavirus today. That person here in Yellowstone County. 449 people have tested positive. 352 of those have recovered. Late this afternoon, Wyoming announced it now has 19 new confirmed coronavirus cases. Wyoming's numbers are growing much faster recently, with more than 38 new cases in the past several days. So far, 389 people have tested positive for COVID-19 and 7 people have died in the state. Public health orders remain in place in Wyoming until Thursday. Well, Montana reported just a single case of confirmed coronavirus today. Most neighboring states are dealing with rapid increases. South Dakota added another 65 cases, jumping its total to more than 2,200. North Dakota also added 64 cases. Idaho added another 10. Well, today was a big day across the region as the state begins to lift its stay-at-home order and allow Main Street and retail businesses to put the "We're Open" sign back in the window. It was definitely a noticeable difference here in Billings. Traffic was the heaviest it's been in weeks along Grand Avenue in Billings as retail shops and other businesses once again opened their doors. Business wasn't exactly brisk at Rimrock Mall, but a steady stream of people could be seen going in and out throughout the day.
After being, sequestered, if you will, for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, it's fun to see the merchants, the customers, the mall walkers, the community back out, and so it's been good.
Right now, a little less than a third of the stores in the mall are open, just 19 of 65, but Hartley expects that number to start picking up.
I think that largely most of the folks are observing the social distancing. I think that they take it serious. I think the community takes it serious, and so it's been fun. It's been fun to get back out and interact.
At the Great Clips, people stood outside in line to wait for a haircut. Only 5 people are allowed inside at a time. Businesses in Billings are being asked to be part of the Safe and Open campaign.
And so the idea is that businesses will take that pledge to be open and safe and create an environment for their staff and for customers to feel comfortable and safe while they're doing business.
Beginning next week, bars, restaurants, and casinos can also open up with restrictions, of course. The governor's order allows local jurisdictions to set more strict requirements, like in Missoula County, where salons will not open until Phase 2. The state does not have a hard date for when Phase 2 might begin. The unemployment impact on Montana is best told through the numbers. We can report tonight that more than 100,000 Montanans have filed claims through April 18th. We have gone from an unemployment rate of 3.5% last month to more than 12% today. The number of claims is up 575% in a month. Similar story here in Yellowstone County, where we have seen unemployment claims rise from just over 1,200 last month to almost 10,000 by the middle of April. In 1 week, more than 3,700 people filed for unemployment here in the county. The Montana Department of Labor is trying to process all of the claims, but it's facing a challenge it's not set up to handle. And you can catch all of the stories in the Rebound series on our website, ktvq.com. Montana State in Bozeman is now on the front lines in the battle against coronavirus. Tonight, MTN's John Miller has the story.
Montana State professor and researcher Blake Wiedenheft was recently granted $2.5 million from the National Institute of Health to aid in his research of microbiology and immunology.
The big picture is that my lab's really been studying pandemics for over a decade.
Wiedenheft studies bacteria's immune systems and how they fight infections.
Most viruses on the planet don't infect people. They infect bacteria. And we want to know what happens when bacteria get sick and how bacteria fight off those viral infections. And what we're learning is that there's more similarities between the immune systems in bacteria and humans than we ever guessed.
Studying bacteria can help humans develop ways to combat these infections.
If bacteria make us sick, then if we know how bacteria fight off viral infections that make them sick, then maybe we can make drugs that make them more susceptible to viral infection.
He is the second MSU professor in the last 2 years to be awarded the grant.
It's something that sometimes goes a little bit underappreciated, that there's world-class research that's happening at MSU.
During a time like COVID-19, being in this line of work is rewarding.
We love what we do, so it's exciting work, and we're driven to try to deliver on those taxpayer resources.
In Bozeman, John Miller, MTN News.
Well, nice weather is moving in and flowers are starting to bloom. Unfortunately, the spring season also comes a rise in allergy symptoms. For allergy sufferers, symptoms could include sneezing, coughing, and itchy or puffy eyes. But now medical professionals are noticing that these symptoms can be similar to those of COVID-19. Dr. Brad Fuller of Fuller Family Medicine tells us that in order to be sure that the symptoms you're experiencing are that of seasonal allergies, you should go to your primary doctor. Symptoms can overlap from viruses to allergies to bacterial infections, so it's important, especially now, to identify that cause early. Fuller tells us that during the allergy season, it's also important that those affected take precautions when around others due to increased sneezing and coughing.
A lot of the symptoms overlap from virus to allergy to bacterial infections, and I think it's very important that we identify what is causing your symptoms so that we can tailor therapy. For example, we know that coronavirus causes people to cough. Some people sneeze. Well, that's what allergies does too, is coughing and sneezing. But then there's different symptoms that don't happen with coronavirus all that commonly. That would be more itchy, watery eyes. Runny nose has been reported.
And coronavirus usually has a fever as well. Fuller also reminds us that allergy sufferers are not at a higher risk of contracting COVID-19, but are likely to spread it if they do have it due to the increased sneezing associated with allergies. Close to 1,000 elective surgeries have been on backlog at Billings Clinic due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, starting tomorrow, patients who need surgery will have access to a special curbside pre-procedure testing center. Patients will be tested from their cars, and the center is located at North Broadway and 8th Avenue near same-day care. In March, the clinic halted all elective surgeries, but now has a plan to phase surgical procedures back in the week of May 4th. Patients will also need to self-quarantine between the time they take their test and have their surgery. Those with Billings Clinic say dealing with this backlog of surgeries is calculated.
We're really, working, every day of the week with teams meeting to come up with how we're going to address this backlog. How do we get to these patients and catch up, but we don't want to go too fast and then create some type of surge with COVID. So it's just going to be a real kind of work for a little while, measure some benchmarks to see how we're doing, and then proceed in a stepwise phased manner.
Testing samples from those elective procedure patients will go to Mayo Clinic for analysis, and results will take about 4 to 6 business days. All right, still to come on the MTN 9 o'clock news, Montana's political battles gaining steam. We're going to dive deeper into the Democratic battle for the state's Attorney General's seat. But first, Bob's in next with your full 7-day forecast.